There are a few things that geeks and nerds love to do more than to argue about who is stronger in this anime versus this anime or this comic versus this comic. So in the spirit of that, I wanted to discuss who is the strongest of the Hokages. So with that in mind, welcome back, this is Jack. Please note, I have set several rules for this conversation. 1. Naruto is immediately off the list just because he does have the protagonist syndrome and is constantly just being overpowered. And number 2, I am going by what we actually see them do, not suggested feats done by the background story lore that we do not see. Note that kind of screws over Sarutobi. At number 1 is the first Hokage, Hashirama. It is a meme that somebody got a power-up because they got a part of Hashirame's cells. It's a running joke, and for good reason. Master of Wood style, reincarnation of one of the demigods. He is insanely powerful in his own right, and when he does get resurrected, we see why he is referred to as such. Of course, this is also looking at his accomplishments of fighting Madara and actually being one of the few people to ever actually straight up beat him, as even Naruto never actually beat him in the fight. At number 2 is the 4th Hokage, Minato. And I know some of you might think Tobirama should be there, but I feel that the one-shot manga of him, I think kind of puts him at a higher tier than we would have previously seen him, seeing that he was able to square up with the Nine Tails even as a teenager. He created his own very powerful jutsu and had a great tactical mind. And not to mention, even Tobirama had admitted that the 4th had mastered the flying regime far greater than he ever had. Now, yes, Tobirama had a larger pool of resources, but 4th Hokage decided to focus on a selected amount and make himself really good at it. So that's why I put the 4th at a higher level. Plus, we do see him do a lot more during the 4th Great Ninja War finale. Number 3, of course, it is Tobirama. As mentioned, he has created a majority of the ninjutsus we see throughout the series. He's responsible for the impure resurrection. We have seen him make the flying regime, a bunch of other different ones that he's responsible for. Although we don't see him do too terrible much during the 4th Great Ninja War, we do see flashbacks of him and his brother fighting the Uchiha clan during the war and surviving. And coming out on top of a lot of cases, which is something to talk about right there alone, because this is not just Uchiha from down the street. This is Uchihas from the war. These guys weren't holding back. My 4th on this list might get some people to question me is Kakashi. And the reason why is, throughout the whole series, we see Kakashi, although he is not the most in raw power, he is the greatest tactical mind. He has a very diverse pool of resources at his disposal to use, and he is patient. He can figure out the optimal way to make his move and use his limited chakra resources. The perfect time to put the Chidori through someone's chest, as we actually saw him do against the Akatsuki on several occasions. If number 4 bothered you, then number 5 really will, because I'm going to put Tsunade. A lot of people would rank her at the bottom, but I actually put her above the bottom, very specifically because of some of the things that we do see her do. Now, I am ignoring her 100 healings jutsu, and I am ignoring the fact that she created the system that created medical nin to begin with. What puts her there is her raw strength. Remember, she is one of only a handful of people, if any, that ever cracked the perfect Susanoo. Remember, when they were fighting Madara, yes, it was a total of 5v1, but she cracked the perfect Susanoo, something that we had not seen to that point. Most people who were able to fight the Susanoo, either it was an imperfect version or used another method to pull the user out of it. Use like Gaara Sand being a good example. I feel that warrants her getting the second to bottom slot, if I'm being honest, at least. And the final one is Sarutobi. Now, the 3rd Hokage gets put on this list not because I dislike him because of how he handled things as Hokage, although he deserves it for that alone, but because of his power. He gets hit by the power creep so freaking hard. He has hinted that he was actually supposed to be more powerful than the 1st and 2nd, and the only person stronger than him was supposed to be the 4th. But because of the power creep that happens throughout the series, where it stops becoming more of a tactical mindset with little tricks here and there, it becomes the casual user is able to create a waterfall. The only fight we really see him do where he really does anything is during his fight with Orochimaru, where he does fight the resurrected 1st and 2nd, and we later on find out that's a weakened 1st and 2nd, so you can't even really go, oh, that was really powerful. Where you see Tile Shuriken Jutsu as a interesting technique. Could he have ended up higher in this list? Yeah, but we're going off of what we do see him do. And ultimately, he doesn't do that much that's impressive, except for stuff that's early in the series. Now, yes, you do see him during the 4th Great Ninja War as a resurrected shinobi, but he really doesn't do anything in there either. You don't see him actively fighting. You don't see him even really engage Madara. The most you see him do is he fights a Zetsu that's controlling Yamamoto and is able to stop its 5-element attack. So, as I've said, Sarutobi is just a victim of the power creep that Naruto had, and it was a massive creep. I'm sure some of you disagree. I'm sure some of you are looking at me like I'm a crazy idiot. There's a comment section for you to say all that, and if you agree with me, I'd like you to be down there too. I'd like someone down there defending me. It'd be nice. And while you're on your way down there, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.